Welcome back to the NBA, FanDuel, and DraftKings value plays for today, November 30th. It's a nice looking Wednesday slate here. We got 10 games, chock full of some good plays, some good values as well. And a lot of the big stars aren't on the dock today. You're without Harden, you're without the Warriors, and other plays like that. So that kind of makes the cream of the crop, Russell Westbrook and Boogie Cousins tonight. So those are kind of the big two heavy hitters that a lot of people are going to be looking to get in their lineups, especially cash lineups tonight. So values are extra important tonight. As pricing is kind of balancing out. Certain players are going up significantly over the past week or so, especially on DraftKings. So for that reason, I'm going to kind of focus on the DraftKings prices for now. But a lot of these guys are comparably priced or lower on FanDuel. And it's a lot easier to find values, it seems like, or to fill your lineups with some bigger names, big hitters in FanDuel than it is on DraftKings. So I think for that reason, we'll kind of hone in on the DraftKings pricing and output projections for today. So as always, injuries, you just need to keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on those lineups. Keep an eye on projected lineups and injuries. A few of the guys in here actually are going to be greatly impacted by players who are kind of questionable or game time decisions. Primarily the point guard, Sergio Rodriguez. If Bayless is back and is able to play with his wrist injury, that's going to hurt him a bit. And you may need to go to that Memphis point guard, Harrison, today. But if not, if Bayless is out, I'm going to be going with Rodriguez 100% over Harrison. I think he's going to be a little less owned too. Just because Harrison's kind of the name floating out there the most today. And Rodriguez has just been playing heavy minutes. So anyways, we're going to move on and let's get into the point guard position today. I'm going to start off here with Rajon Rondo. I'm liking him a lot. He's in a great spot today against the Lakers, and he's just been playing, very well, very consistent over his past 5 games. He's only actually had one game under 35 DK points over his last 6. So, you can't complain about that, especially when his price isn't extreme. He's only 6,500 on DK tonight, more than reasonable for what he's projected to output and what the Lakers are allowing, especially with all the injuries and youth on their team. So he's been averaging 34.8 DK points over his last 6, like I'd said, and he's in a great spot. And our optimizer here has him projected at 37.4. So you can't complain there at 6,500. That's a good 5x plus, if not more, with an even higher ceiling for Rondo tonight. I think the Bulls are going to come out blazing early. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a blowout. But either way, Rondo's going to have a nice big part of it for at least 3 quarters. So the other point guard I'm looking at is Rodriguez, as I'd mentioned above, with the Sixers. He's playing the Kings tonight, and he's projected for about 28 minutes. That may go down significantly, like I said, if Bayless plays. If not, the minutes will likely even increase a bit. And Rodriguez, he's just kind of been, hemming and hawing, it seems like the last week or so. But when he's getting the minutes, he's still averaging a fantasy point a minute. And that's exactly what you're looking for a value play guy. Whether he can extremely exceed that, who knows. But tonight, he's facing the DVP ranked 10 for the Kings. And they're allowing 53 points to the position. So he's in a pretty good spot to get minutes and a lot of play time if Bayless is out. I'm going to be using him quite a bit, I think, in some GPP contests. If Bayless is actually playing or going to start, like I said, you may have to pivot over to that Memphis point guard tandem, which I don't trust at all either. But when it comes to value plays, you just kind of have to roll with minutes. Harrison's likely going to be getting a boatload of them today. Whether he can do anything with them, time will tell. But for now, I like Rodriguez a lot. I think he's going to average, 28, 29 points tonight. Actually, I think they have him projected at 28 exactly. Yep. So that makes a nice value play and will definitely allow you to get a guy like Westbrook in there. You just pair him up with him, especially on FanDuel or at the second guard position on DK. Shooting guard. I'm looking at Wes Matthews. Matthews, he's been playing just a ton of minutes, and the Mavericks just have not been good. So many injuries and stuff. They really have no choice. But Matthews has been somewhat consistent. He's averaging 24.1 DK points on the season, and he's averaging a little less than that, 21.3 over his last 5. What do you expect from Wes Matthews? A lot of ups and downs, a lot of 28, 30-point games, followed up by a 14 or 15. So the risk is there. There's no doubt about it. But if you're looking to get at least one value shooting guard, you could possibly you could do worse. 4,400 on DK, and he's facing the Spurs, who are kind of a feared defensive team, but they're ranked 20 in DVP, and 42.8 points they're allowing to the shooting guard position. So it's a little intimidating, but not terrible. And I think Matthews is going to be a key cog to that offense tonight, as usual, with a usage rate of over 20. So Matthews, I'm liking him at 4,400. Our optimizer has him projected at 28.44 DK points tonight. So that's around 6x for sure. So I'm hoping that holds up, and I'm going to be using Matthews as a plug-in for several lineups as well. Another option at shooting guard, if you're looking for one or two, is Rodney McGruder of the Heat. He's getting a ton of minutes and just not really doing very much with it, but at this price, 3,900 on DK, you can't really complain about that. A guy's getting over 30 minutes, and at that price, it's just kind of worth the risk. A punt play, if you want to call it that. But McGruder can do something and at least fill up enough stat lines that you can probably get 25, 26 points from. The optimizer has him projected actually at 27.3 tonight. So yeah, if you're looking to get a Westbrook and possibly another big name in there, even like a Boogie Cousins or something, you're going to have to play a guy like McGruder or someone like that who's well under 4K tonight on DraftKings. It's going to be very tough to do, but if you're looking to do that stars and scrubs sort of thing, he's your man. All right, small forward, PJ Tucker. The Suns going up against Atlanta. This should be a nice, fast-paced game. Tucker's price, sadly, is starting to go up since he's producing so much and playing heavy minutes. Last time I think he was at 3,800, 3,600 maybe on DK, and he's at 4,300 today. But I think that's still a reasonable price for him. A little bit more risk for him to try to meet value than it was in the past, obviously. But his last game 3 days ago, so he's well rested too. He put up 36 DK points, so he had a really nice game. Tonight he's coming back to rested in an up-tempo game. Probably going to play 34, 35 minutes like he has been, and he's averaging 0.82 fantasy points a minute. So really, that's about what you're looking for here for the small forward position. And at 4,300, you can't really go wrong. They have him projected at 28.7 tonight in the optimizer. So that's another good one that's over 6x. So exactly what you're looking for. Tucker's gonna be a lot of my fill-in small forward position guy tonight. Another option who I don't trust as much is Marcus Morris. He's getting a lot of minutes, and he's had his ups and downs as well. He's projected to play 34 minutes tonight against the Celtics, and the Celtics are allowing 46.7 points to the small forward, so there's potential here for Morris to do a little bit of damage. His usage rate's actually pretty high. It's 21, so he's one of the key cogs in the Pistons offense, and costing 4,600 on DraftKings, you can do worse. He is, projected to score 29.6 tonight in the optimizer, and that's well over 6x. So you got two pretty good options here, relatively cheap on DraftKings tonight at small forward. It's PJ Tucker and Marcus Morris. I'd be fine with either of them or even both, on FanDuel if you're really not liking the option or can't afford a guy like Jimmy Buckets or someone like that in there. So, power forward. I'm liking Tobias Harris. I actually listed him in my GPP green light post earlier. He had a wonderful game last night. Helped me cash in plenty of games and contests last night. So I always kind of fear going back to the well when a guy has a surprising big game. And I'm not expecting a game as good as he had with the 42.25 DK points, but I can expect at least 32, 33, I think, from him. His usage rate's 22.1, and the best part is about the Celtics DVP is actually 28th, so one of the worst in the league against the power forward position. So Harris should be able to still do some damage And if you're, a little worried about pairing him up with Morris, perhaps, I would lean towards Harris over Morris tonight, I think. But if you need to, you could plug them both in and just have two of the, almost 40% of the usage for the Pistons in your lineup and at a fair price. Harris is a little bit more than my typical value plays. He's 5,700 on DK and he's 5,300 over on FanDuel. But I'm still willing to go there with the power forward position, especially if I'm paying up for Westbrook and a few other guys in the lineups. I think you're going to need a guy like Harris in there who's kind of mid-tier, middle of the road, slightly on the lower end of salary. So tonight he's projected they have him for 34.6 DK points. And again, that's 6x over value, which is exactly what I kind of target each and every night. Guy with a high usage and high potential for meeting value. So to wrap it up here, we're going to look at the center position, and I'm actually kind of leaning towards Mason Plumlee for those lineups that you have an extra utility spot, like on DraftKings, or if you're not using Boogie Cousins. Plumlee, he's just in another fantastic spot tonight, facing up against the Pacers. They're 9th in DVP, but they're still allowing almost 51.5 points to the centers. So that is pretty good. And Plumlee's he's not a dominant, really, kind of load up the stat sheets kind of center, but he can kind of do it sneaky and consistent enough that's what I kind of want when I'm going for a value center, a guy who can kind of has a higher floor, and Plumlee is that guy. The Blazers are projected to score 103.75 tonight according to Vegas, so there's plenty of points to be had. And Plumlee's producing 1.1 fantasy point a minute, so at 5,800, that's pretty darn good, and he's been averaging just under around 30 minutes a game. So DraftKings tonight, they have him projected on 33 points in the optimizer, and over on FanDuel 31.2. So again, at those prices, you can't really go wrong. He's going to hit the value hopefully and fill in some blanks. So if you're going up high at the guards positions, or with Westbrook and I don't know, someone else like a Westbrook and Butler on DraftKings, a guy like Plumlee will fit in rather nice into your lineup and not hurt you too much in the pocketbook. So with that, I wish you guys all the best. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at FantasyChillPony. There's no second A in there, ran out of room, but be sure to follow it. Ask away any questions, last minute lineup things if you have any. I always try to answer everything I get. And be sure to check out Daily Fantasy Cafe as normal. We'll use the optimizer tool and just all sorts of other fantastic tools like Minutes to Win It and other great articles and posts from myself and my colleagues. So with that, again, I wish you all the best of luck. Let's go win some money tonight, and we will see you next time.